Hi, my name is Ryan Krause, and I'm the pastor of the Paxtonville United Methodist Church. And I want to say thank you for joining us on our Day 2 of Summer Storytime Vacation Bible School, where you can enjoy Vacation Bible School from the comfort of your living room and your own home. Let's start by remembering our big idea verse together. Do you remember it? And have you been practicing it? It comes from John 10:10. So let's remember it together. In it, Jesus says, "I have come so that they may have life, and I want them to have it in the fullest possible way." Now we want you to remember this important verse all week, so we're going to try to remember it, and I'm going to invite you to say it with me one more time, okay? This is John 10:10. Say it with me. Jesus says, "I have come so that they may have life, and I want them to have it in the fullest possible way." Today I've gathered some things from one of my favorite summertime activities, going to the beach. I'm going to ask you to pause the video for a moment and talk with somebody who's near you and think about these two questions. Have you ever been to the beach? And when you go to the beach, what are some of your favorite things to do? So go ahead and pause the video now and talk about those questions. So here are some of the things that I like to take with me when I go to the beach. I'm here sitting on my beach towel, and I'm wearing my sandals, and even brought a beach ball to have some fun. And one of the many things that we like to do at the beach when you go is play in the sand and be near the ocean. As I think about sand which is warm and gritty and soft and shifting, it reminds me of a parable, a story that Jesus told to his disciples. The story wasn't about going to the beach, but it was about sand. It was about two kinds of people who wanted to build a house. And one person built their house on a foundation of rocks, and one person built their house on a foundation of sand. And two different things happened. And that these stories remind us that there's a deeper meaning, that Jesus wants us to live and build our lives on the solid foundation of faith. Now let's read the story together, okay? And so go ahead and use your imagination with me while we see and remember what Jesus is talking about. This is a story from Matthew 7, verses 24 through 27. Jesus said, "So then everyone who hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man. He builds his house on the rock. The rain comes down and the water rises. The winds blow and beat against the house, but it does not fall. It is built on the rock. But everyone who hears my words and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man. He builds his house on the sand. The rain comes down, the water rises, the wind blows and beats against that house, and it falls with a loud crash." Now, a fun way to understand this story could be to maybe have the things that Jesus mentions on hand. Jesus talked about a wise man building a house on a rock. And he also talked about a wise man, or a foolish man, who built a house on sand. So let's get down to the basics of the story, right? So imagine that you're trying to build a house or to build a tower. If you built it on the rock, do you think it has a good chance of standing up? It probably does. Even if the winds shake it, there's a good chance that it will still stand. Now, imagine that you try to do the same thing and build a house or a tower maybe on a pile of sand. Do you think that that has a good chance of standing and staying up? You know, sand that kind of shifts and moves? Well, maybe not. And here, let's do a little demonstration, shall we? I brought some of my son's building blocks. So let's imagine we build a little house on the stone. And we take some water Like Jesus talked about, the wind and the waves come against the house, and if it goes against even if it shifts the house a little bit, nothing happens. It's on a solid rock and doesn't move. But if we do the same thing and use some piles of sand, let's watch what happens. We try to build our little house, and it's definitely not going to be as easy because it's on sand. And then what happens when the winds and the waves come in and start hitting the sand? It all falls over. The sand and the rock are what we call a foundation. Foundations support buildings. What Jesus really wants us to think about is not a house and not a building, but is about my life. What is my life built on? Who and what will support me and help me to get through good times and through tough times? For Jesus, the answer is God, and is faith, and is trusting in Him and having a relationship with Him. Yes, we can't see these things, but having them in our life is a solid rock that supports and protects us. Right, here's the thing. Jesus knows that life is hard. A few years ago, my own family went to the beach, and my little boy Beckett was playing in the sand near the ocean. A big wave started coming, so my wife immediately ran over and scooped my son Beckett up so that he wouldn't be washed away by the waves. That wouldn't be very good. When we ask Jesus to live in our hearts and to forgive us for our sins and the not so nice things that we do, that's what Jesus does for us. He comes and the foundation scoops us up and protects us, and He keeps us close. So let's just remember really quickly our big idea verse. Do you remember it? Jesus says, I have come so that they may have life. I want them to have it in the fullest possible way. It's good to have someone in your life who loves you and takes care of you and is always there for you, like our moms and our dads and our friends and our neighbors and those who are close to us, aunts and uncles and more. But we especially need Jesus in our life to do that too. When Jesus, the Son of God, lives in our hearts, we have a solid foundation to keep us close and keep us safe, that will never ever go away and is always there for you. So we want to encourage you today that if you want to live a life in the fullest possible way, make sure that you have the foundation of a relationship with Jesus. Thanks for spending time with us on day 2 of Summer Storytime VBS Beach Day. Don't forget to click the links to watch the songs for today and also do the crafts that are in your kit. We'll see you next time.